Okay, let's practice solving some more problems. Let's look at this. We have a linear relationship which we want to graph as a linear function. F equals mx plus b. Okay, we are told that the rate of change of this function is 8, all right? And we know that 7 comma 50 is 1 point on the graph. What is the y-intercept? So what is the y-intercept of the line that we will use to graph this function? Okay. Let's remember that we're going to have our coordinate plane, right? We know 1 point is 7 comma 50. We're not going to be too precise, but it's going to be, I don't know, somewhere like here. And we know we're going to graph a straight line, right? And we know the rate of change. And we want to figure out where on the y-axis will this line across? Okay, what do we know? We know the rate of change is 8. We know that m in this equation is what represents the rate of change. So m equals positive 8. And what do we know? We know there's 1 point, which is 7 comma 50. So we know there's 1 point where x equals 7 and y equals 50, right? Okay, so let's use this relationship to get an answer to our question, or rather, let's use these facts to get an answer to our question. Okay, so let's remind ourselves what equation we're dealing with. We're dealing with f of x equals mx plus b. All right, so we want to find what b is, right? We want to find the value of b because this is the y-intercept, right? This is the value of y where the function will pass through y-axis. Okay, so let's do this. We've got f of x equals mx plus b, so that equals 8x plus b, okay? Remember what f of x equals, right? Remember f of x equals y, right? Or remember that the output of a function is always graphed on the y-axis. So therefore, we're going to substitute in 7 for x and 50 for f of x, right? So 50 equals 8 times 7 plus b, right? 50 equals 8 times 7 plus b. Let's simplify that. That's 50 equals, I believe that's 50 equals 56 plus b, right? So 50 equals 56 plus b. This isn't too hard, right? This is a one-step equation. We're going to subtract 56 from both sides, right? That'll cancel out. And what are we going to have? We're going to have 50 minus 56 is negative 6 equals b, okay? Or we can write it as b equals negative 6. Let me make really sure that's a 6 and this is a b, right? So b equals negative 6, therefore the y-intercept of the line that we use to graph this function is negative 6. Okay, everyone, let's look at this. John is planning how much money he's going to spend on a trip to the amusement park. There is an entrance fee to get in, and once inside, tickets cost $5 per ride. He knows he is going to ride 9 rides, and he knows he will spend $99 in total. How much was the entrance fee? All right, let's see how we could possibly solve this. First of all, is this a linear function? Is his cost a linear function? It is, right? His cost depends on what? His cost depends on how much, his cost depends on how many rides he's going to ride, right? And since tickets cost $5 per ride, the rate of change of his cost is just positive 5 for $5, right? So his cost is going to change by a constant amount depending on how many rides he rides. And so this is a linear function. Okay, therefore we know we can model it as f of x, right, equals mx plus b. F of x is going to stand for his cost. We know that x is going to stand for the number of rides that he rides. And we know that m is going to be the rate of change, or the slope of the line that we're going to use to graph, right? Okay, well, we know that M equals 5, right? If the tickets cost $5 per ride, we know that the rate of change of his cost is positive 5. Okay, and we know that he will finally spend $99. Okay, we also know, okay, that means f of x equals 99. That's the amount of money he spends. So we know the output, f of x, is 99. And we know that x, which is the variable, the independent variable, the number of rides that he's going to ride is 9. And we want to find out how much the entrance fee was. Well, the entrance fee is going to be the y-intercept, b. Why is that? Because that's the amount before he spends money for any rides, right? So like that's going to be f of 0. F of 0 equals b. This is the entrance fee, right? Right? If his the entrance fee is the component of his cost before the cost of any tickets are taken into consideration, okay? So let's use this information here and solve for b. Well, f of x equals mx plus b, so we know 99. 99 equals 5 times 9 plus b, right? Okay, that means 99 equals, what's 5 times 9? That's 45. So 99 equals 45 plus b. So let's stop here to think about this and make sure it makes sense, right? He spends $99. He has two components of his cost, right? He has the cost he spent, the money he spends on rides, and he has the entrance fee that he spends to get in. If we know tickets cost $5 per ride and he rides 9 rides, we know he spends 5 times 9, $45 on tickets, right? We also know he also had to pay the entrance fee. And we know that he spent $99 in total, so his cost of $99 is equal to the entrance fee plus how much he spends on tickets. So let's subtract 45 from both sides to get b by itself. Subtract 45 from both sides. Okay, so b is equal to what? B is equal to 99 minus 45, which is 54, right? Pretty steep entrance fee, but that's what it is. B is equal to 44.